loss in Friday's semifinal. Washington suffered an equally tough defeat to Marshall and have to regroup. The Maroons and the Panthers next.
The final day of the basketball season in Illinois dawns cold and snowy in Peoria as we crown two state champions here today. Hello and welcome to Carver Arena in downtown Peoria. I'm Lee Hall. Mother Nature saying, put the golf clubs away, softball, baseball players, go back inside. We've got one more day of basketball season left, and we begin with what could be the downstate state title game. It's the third place game in 3A between local favorite Washington and Champaign Central. And here for the call of the game, Kurt Pegler and Bill Hitt.
Thank you, Lee Hall, and welcome to Carver Arena and Championship Saturday in the state of Illinois, the last day of the boys basketball season here at the IHSA. Kurt Pegler along with former Proviso East head coach Bill Hitt, who won a couple of championships with the Pirates in the early 90s. We've got two championships to crown today, a 3A and a 4A title. But first we'll start with the 3A third place game with a pair of teams that were very close yesterday to playing for today's championship.
Yeah, both of those teams had great chances to win their games yesterday. I know they're disappointed, but what I'm looking forward to is when that ball goes up, they're going to get after it. They don't want to end their season with a loss.
Let's tell you how these two teams made their way to Carver Arena and this Final Four date, this semifinal or this third place game. We'll start with Champaign Central. The Maroons in the sectional semifinals beat Normal West, and then number one Decatur Eisenhower in the sectional finals to win the Mount Zion sectional before winning against Mount Vernon in the super sectional in Springfield, and then yesterday losing to Chicago Simeon 51-46 in the state semifinal. Then Washington's trip to Peoria included victories over Peoria Central and Geneseo in the Galesburg sectional before falling at Northern Illinois University, before beating Sterling at Northern Illinois University in the supers, before falling yesterday to Chicago Marshall in the semifinal 63-57. How about some key players to the game? Verdell Jones gets Carver Arena. Champaign Central's Maroons 24-8 taking on the Washington Panthers 26-4 for third place in the Class 3A boys basketball tournament. As we mentioned, both of these teams very close to playing for a state championship. Both teams had second half leads yesterday in their semifinal games, couldn't finish the job, but both are guaranteed to bring home some hardware. And when you're talking about Washington, which hasn't been to state bill since 1962, and Champaign Central, which hasn't been to state since 1969, bringing home some hardware is a big deal.
It really is. And you know, you and I were talking on Thursday when we got down here, when I got down here, and we said we're going to have great games to call for the 3A. And so far, the first two yesterday were actually phenomenal. I think this game this afternoon, the 3A game, the third place game, is going to be just as good. I think both of these teams, they're evenly matched. They play kind of similarly. I think it's going to, number one, be very entertaining, and number two, I think the kids are going to get after it.
You see the breakdown of the two schools, where they're located, and now we're going to go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog, who'll introduce the players. We'll meet him in this Class 3A third place game.
Good morning, basketball fans. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association of the City of Peoria, welcome to America's original March Madness. This third place game for Class 3A Boys 2008 features the Champaign Central Maroons 24-8 and the Washington Panthers 26-4. Let's meet the starting lineups. For Champaign Central, a 5'11 junior, 14, Xander Culver. At a guard for Washington, a 6'3 junior, 20, Ben Warner. Another guard for the Maroons, a 6'5 senior, 24, Donald Stewart. At a guard for the Panthers, a 5'11 junior, 21, Brian Tighe. Third guard for Champaign Central, a 6'4 senior, 34, Verdell Jones. Another guard for Washington, a 5'11 junior, 25, Corey Sharp. At center for the Maroons is 6'6" senior, 50, Keith Biggers. The fourth guard for the Panthers is 6'3" senior, 30, Matt Roth. At forward for Champaign Central, a 6'5" junior, 22, Patrick Wampler. The fifth guard for Washington is 6'1" junior, 32, Dyricus Sims Edwards. Coaching in his 16th season for Champaign Central, Scott Davis, a record of 269 and 154. 11 years a head coach, 4 for the Panthers, a record of 98 and 20 at Washington, Kevin Brown. As the players and coaches wish each other good luck at half court, the IHSA Board of Directors and member schools expect and promote good sportsmanship by all athletes, coaches, students, parents, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and the officials in a positive manner. Do what's right. No other state in America can claim the rich history and tradition that's been generated by March Madness in Illinois. It's America's original March Madness. Direct your attention to Arena 4 and meet the officials for this game. The referee from Springfield, Mark Powell. From Rantoul, Gary Burr. And from Champaign, Keith Johnson. Presenting the game ball for this third place game will be Craig Bertrand, General Manager of Prairie Farms, one of the sponsors of the March Madness experience. We thank Prairie Farms for their contribution to the greatest high school single event in the land.
Let's take a look at those starting lineups. Champaign Central sending out Xander Culver, Donald Stewart, Verdell Jones, Patrick Wampler, and the big man, Keith Biggers. 5 guards essentially make up Washington's starting 5 with Ben Warner, Brian Tye, Corey Sharp, Matt Roth, and Dyricus Sims Edwards. And we thank the folks at Walgreens for their proud sponsorship of these IHSA telecasts and the IHSA Do What's Right sportsmanship program. Washington in the home whites with orange trim. Champaign Central in their maroon road jerseys. And the Panthers have the opening tap and we're underway. Class 3A, third place game here in Peoria.
Great back cut, but he missed the layup.
Brian Tye couldn't finish, and now Champaign Central brings the ball up the floor. Verdell Jones, we talked about him quite a bit yesterday, perhaps the top uncommitted senior in the state of Illinois. There's Biggers, and he opens this game much like he did the semifinal yesterday with a short basket.
You know, he just sealed the man. Verdell Jones made a great entry pass from the wing, and he just went to the glass. I look for them to try to get the ball inside. Biggers is just very hard to handle. Washington not real big inside.
That will be a huge storyline in this morning's game. Ben Warner pump fake, and he's off the glass and in, and we're even at 2.
You know, they're such a perimeter-focused team, but they do an exceptional job of attacking inside.
Biggers again down low, and he's 2 for 2.
You know, I think they just had a communication problem, and no one was guarding him on that transition.
Well, 6'6", 250 pounds. Biggers is a load, and he's going to be difficult to move out of there. Now he has the steal. This is Verdell Jones' first shot of the game. It's a 3 and it goes down, and the Maroons have started 3 for 3.
You know, you have to find Verdell Jones and Stewart. You have to find them before they're in a position to shoot the ball.
Matt Ross' first 3 is no good, and there's the first foul of the game against Biggers. And he needs to stay out of foul trouble for Champaign Central to be successful. You take a look at Scott Davis while we bring you the tournament history, the long tournament history. First with Champaign High School and now with Champaign Central. We mentioned 1969, their third place finish, their last state basketball trophy. Now it's Verdell Jones in the front court. His pass, though, is picked off. Warner coming back on defense.
Both of these teams are very comfortable running the ball. We're going to see an up-tempo game, I think, throughout.
Roth, 3, short. So he's 0 for 2. Ball's out of bounds, and let's go to Champaign Central.
You know, Roth is obviously he's a good shooter, but his range is really what's so impressive for me. He's comfortable shooting the ball 24, 25 feet from the basket. They
trap at the half court. Now it's Xander Culver who gets it for Champaign Central. saw that last graphic telling you about Washington's last state appearance, 1962, but you have to go back to 1909 to find their last state basketball trophy. That was a second place finish, so 99 years since a state basketball trophy has made its way to Washington High School. Offensive rebound and stick back that time from Corey Sharp.
Good to see him get a putback. He had his hands full yesterday guarding that quickness.
Stewart's pass is picked off, and now the Panthers come down. A 3-ball would tie it. Instead, Roth drives. He missed with the right hand, though. Roth still looking for his first points. He's 0 of 3 from the field. Now Verdell Jones. Sharp is on him. Pull-up jumper. Verdell Jones, a smooth move. Give him 5 of his team's 9 points. And Champaign Central out to a 9-4 lead.
You know, Corey Sharp did a great job that time keeping the ball in front of him, but he's given up 3 or 4 inches, and that he was able to shoot over him.
Now to the corner. Ben Warner. Tough shooting day yesterday, but he's come out firing now. He has 5 points, and Washington's back within 2. Warner, one of the key reasons for this Washington push in the postseason. He's been so good, and now a turnover for Champaign Central's Verdell Jones. And we've got a timeout on the floor with Central leading Washington 9-7. Back with more after you hear from our local sponsors.
Before the game, I had a chance to talk to both coaches, and Champaign Central coach Scott Davis told me that he told his boys today's game is more about the mental than the physical. They had an upsetting loss last night, but they need to come back, and it's about who wants it more. He actually told his seniors that you don't want to go out your last weekend playing basketball with 2 losses. So I think we should really look forward to seeing both teams' seniors get at it. Washington's coach Kevin Brown actually said that it's the end of the season. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, but it was easier for them to come back and play today because they knew they had a game to play. So he pretty much just said he's proud of his boys and their work ethic, and I really expect to see a good game today. Back to you, Kurt.
Thank you, Ashley Robinson, working our sidelines along with Lee Hall this afternoon for our Class 3A state games here, the 3rd place game, and don't forget we're setting the table for you for Chicago Simeon against Chicago Marshall for the Class 3A title, which follows this one immediately. Now checking into the game is Josh Broadstone, number 12 for Washington. Off the glass, Matt Roth's first points of the afternoon.
Well, I think part of this with him is going to be me and my shadow. Patrick Wampler is just all over him. And he's a little bit long, so it makes it hard for Roth to see the basket.
Keith Biggers having his way down low. He's 3 out of 3, and the Maroons have hit all of their shots from the field. They're 6 out of 6. Now it's Dyreka Sims-Edwards knocking down a 3. Now both of these teams like to hang their hat on defense, but how about the offensive numbers here in the opening 6 minutes of this game?
Well, they're both very good shooting teams, and we're seeing that right now.
Here's Culver from the outside. That's the Maroons' first miss of this game, and the ball is out of bounds. It's off the hands of Broadstone, so Champaign Central will get it.
You know, we see Washington, and maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago, they went to a little 2-1-2 half-court trap. What they're trying to do is take the ball out of the hands of Verdell Jones in the backcourt and make him give it up to the big people sooner than he wants to. Be interesting to see how long they stay in that.
Michael Arnett, 6'4", 180-pound seniors, entered the game for the Panthers. And Roth, a defensive rebound. Panthers with their first advantage of the game at 12-11. Backdoor cut, but Broadstone's pass is picked off.
Right idea, just very good defense on Biggers' part.
Jones to the baseline. He spins, slips the pass down to Biggers, who lays it in. He's 4 of 4 from the field. A great first quarter for Keith Biggers.
You got a big man like that, you tell him keep your hands above your waist and catch the ball, and you'll score a lot of points.
He has 8 of his team's 13. Sims-Edwards on the baseline. Tighe thought about it momentarily. Now it's Sims-Edwards again. And he drew contact. It's going to be a reach-in foul on Champaign Central. Looks like the guilty party is Xander Culver. You see that both of these teams played Pekin and Normal Community. Pekin is in Washington's Mid-Illini Conference, and so that's why there's 2 games against the Pekin Dragons. In fact, Pekin was the last team to beat Washington before the Panthers got here to the state semis before falling to Marshall yesterday. Dyreka Sims-Edwards out of the game now for Washington. We approach the 2-minute mark left here, first quarter. Champaign Central 13, Washington 12. Kurt Pegler, Bill Hitt with you on the IHSA Television Network. This is the 3rd place game in Class 3A boys basketball in the state of Illinois. Here's Matt Roth, the Indiana recruit. Down the lane, flips it up and in.
Well, Scott Davis had Wampler guarding Roth to start. Then he moved, took him out, put Donald Stewart, who just scored, on him. So he's got 2 big defenders. He's probably going to rotate them, just make them work as hard as they can to keep Roth from getting the ball where he can score.
First basket of the game for Donald Stewart, and a travel violation by Ben Warner. And Matt McClellan now checks in the game for Washington. He'll replace Brian Tighe. Scoring highs and lows for Scott Davis's team. That loss against Chicago Whitney Young back in December, he thought has prepared his team well for the speed they saw yesterday, certainly against Chicago Simeon. And when you talk about the schedule that Champaign Central played this year, they played 3 state championship caliber teams from out of Illinois and 2 more semifinalists from out of state, along with the schedule that they play. Chicago Whitney Young, we mentioned, and #1 Decatur Eisenhower on their schedule this year.
Yeah, when I was looking at that, I thought, you know, that's really a lot of heady stuff to play that kind of a schedule, and it's obviously prepared his team for playing down here.
Well, 2 of those 3 out-of-state champions they played, they beat. And then the 2 other Final Four teams out of state as well. And then we mentioned Decatur Eisenhower, a team in their conference. They see them during the regular season and took them out in the sectional final, which was the first loss of the season for Eisenhower. And you add Chicago Whitney Young. This is just a very battle-tested team.
You know, you see more of that now. Years ago, you kind of played in your region, and now you don't. You play all over.
Matt Ross, deep 3. He's still looking for his first 3-point make of this game. He's made a 3-point shot in 99 consecutive games, which is a state record. Here's Verdell Jones now. Tried to snap a pass. He does get it through traffic, and catching it and scoring is Chris Lehman.
You know, he's got great court vision. You know, those big people have to play with their hands up because he's going to put the ball in them.
Final half minute of this opening quarter. And the Panthers obviously holding for 1 here. Sims-Edwards may go one-on-one with Carter Billingsley. Gets a screen from Matt McClellan, now lost the dribble. Here's McClellan with it, 10 seconds. Sims-Edwards penetrates, finds a cutting Arnett, who lays it in and draws contact. 3-point play opportunity for Michael Arnett.
Just great penetration right there. Very patient with the ball. Breaks down the defense. Almost bobbled it, but goes strong, recovers, draws the foul. Sims-Edwards, Verdell Jones, you're looking at 2 really great penetrating, and Ducky Stewart, 3 really great penetrating guards.
Robert Barton has entered the game now for the Panthers, a 6-foot, 165-pound junior. And Arnett, who didn't see the floor yesterday, makes his foul shot, and we're even at 17. Final second here of the quarter. A long 3-quarter court shot is no good by Verdell Jones, and we're all even at the end of 8 minutes. It's Washington 17 and Champaign Central 17. Back with more from Carver Arena after you hear from our network sponsor.
And welcome back to Carver Arena. We're all even after 8 minutes, 17 all. I'm with David Roth, Matt Roth's father, Matt number 30 on the Washington Panthers. Committed to Indiana. We know there's been a lot of things going on over there. Can you talk about Matt's commitment to the university? He said as a young boy he wanted to be a Hoosier, and that hasn't changed.
That's correct. You know, he made a decision, and we've taught our kids that to stick with their decisions. It's kind of like when they're kids and they're riding bikes through mud puddles. You don't tell them to go around them. You don't tell them to run away from them. I mean, they have to go through that. And good thing about mud, it usually washes off. And you know, Mom may not have liked it, but it usually worked that way. So just his decision making, he's been taught from a very young kid to, you know, always look at the positives. Don't dwell on the negatives. And I think if you know him, you'll understand the way he is. He's been taught that way.
Tell me what a special ride this has been for the community. I mean, Washington has had great players down through the years. Doug Lee, the list goes. Todd Foster that played at Purdue as well. To get to this point, what's it been like for Washington?
Well, it's been a lot of hard work by the kids. The parents have basically turned their kids over to Coach Brown so he could teach them the game and also more things in life than you'll ever imagine. So that's basically all I have to say.
Well, there's a great closeness there, too. I saw his wife down in the tunnel, and a big hug for Matt. And
Sure.
Kevin was saying earlier in the week how close they are. He's like a son to him, he said.
Correct. And I have no problems with that. You know, that just tells me that they've devoted 4 years of their lives for each other, and the end result right here. So hopefully we can come out with a W and go home tomorrow and have a great celebration and a great community.
Well, you got a fine young man to be proud of, sir. Thank you for being on with us. Mark Roth is a freshman. He's played some varsity, so Mr. Roth and Mrs. may be going through this again sometime in the future, guys.
Thank you, Lee, and yeah, congratulations to the Roth family. And Matt Roth, certainly one of the more recruited players in the state this past year, did honor his commitment. He made that commitment to Indiana. He signed his letter of intent in November, and even after the coaching change, he said, I'm sticking with it. For Dell Jones from the outside, that's good, a three-pointer. Jones and his teammate Donald Stewart, two of the uncommitted seniors in the state of Illinois, and there's a lot of people in the stands here, scouts and college coaches, that are looking at those two young men.
You know, they have great college bodies. You know, they're kind of long guards, kind of combo guards.
Our first quarter statistics brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. How about Champaign Central? 8 of 11 from the field to open this game at 73%.
And only tied. You know, imagine if they weren't shooting the ball well.
And 7 out of 15 from the field isn't so bad for Washington either. So you've got a couple of teams, as we mentioned, that love to hang their hat on their defense, but really smoking it offensively here. Tige was cut off at the baseline. Now Warner at the top of the circle. Here's Matt McClellan. Now it's Dyricus Sims-Edwards. He's working on Stewart. Roth gives it up to Tige around a screen. Now Sims-Edwards down the lane. Tried to slip the ball underneath the Tige, and there's a reach-in foul against Champaign Central.
You know, I'm watching Washington, and their passes are not crisp like they were yesterday. Just a little bit off. Wonder if that's the fatigue playing back-to-back games like that.
Well, in the old days, the third place game was played on the same day you played a state semifinal, so at least you've got a little bit of time in between games.
Right.
Here's Roth down the lane. Little floater is in, so Matt Roth, who's yet to hit a three, is getting his points by dribble penetration.
Well, again, Wampler's doing a very good job of denying him looks on the perimeter, but by doing so, he's up tight on the ball. Roth's able to drive.
Keith Biggers having his way down low. Now the first player in double figures give him 10 points and a 4-point advantage for his Maroons. Left open, Matt McClellan says, I'll take the shot unguarded. He gave the Panthers a nice lift yesterday, came off the bench and scored 6 points.
Right.
It's a 2-point advantage now for Champaign Central as we approach the 5-minute mark in this opening half of the third place game, and a three from the corner for Patrick Wampler, who's a 33% three-point shooter.
Don't blink.
Yeah, up and down. Wampler off the bench with 4 points in 9 minutes against Simeon yesterday. How about a three answer? Dyricus Sims-Edwards. Both these teams are just shooting it lights out.
You know, and it's not so much the defense. I think right now the kids are just in a zone and collectively.
26-24 with still better than 4.5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Ball is out of bounds and it's going to go to the Panthers. And we have a timeout on the floor. Champaign Central with a 2-point lead over Washington halfway through the second quarter of the third place game. Back with more after these messages and a word from your local stations. Apple's Bakery Peoria has some of the best desserts your taste buds will ever sample. Visit their website, applesbakery.com, and order one of their Apple Core care packages. They'll deliver it right to your door from across the country. That's Apple's Bakery in Peoria. Ashley Robinson is working our sidelines today.
Here we have our National Association of Realtors moving the game, where the fans get moved from way up top all the way courtside to watch the game. And we actually have two former Washington students here. What year did you guys graduate?
2004. 1975.
Lovely. Did you have any trouble getting here in the weather? I know it's like a blizzard outside.
No, we're used to this. It was worth coming over for. Anything for the Panthers.
Well, fantastic. We got some great fans here cheering for Washington. Back to you, Kurt.
Thanks, Ashley. We thank the folks with the National Association of Realtors for that move, taking people from the upper deck and moving them down to the front row. Scott Davis is Champaign Central Maroons. He's a Central alum, so this game really means a lot to him. He's going to have a chance to bring home the first state trophy, basketball trophy, to that school since 1969. How proud do you think he'll be?
You know, it's anytime you come back from a state tournament with hardware, it's a success.
Brian Teig, the short jumper, goes in, and we are tied after the Teig jump shot, 26 all.
Washington back to their straight man-to-man, got out of that little trap. Too many open looks, I think.
And we're seeing a great matchup one-on-one between Verdell Jones and Dyricus Sims-Edwards. Culver the miss. Biggers is there again, but he had the ball stripped. Matt Roth got his hand on it.
You can't bring the ball down when you're a big guy, and that's what he did.
Ben Warner, spot up three, missed it. Sims-Edwards, offensive board, sticks it back in, and the Panthers have the lead. Jones penetrates, hangs, fires, three-point opportunity. Great body control from Verdell Jones.
And just great concentration. You know, they hooked his arm. He had to go up with his left and turned it over to his right hand. See him break. He just beats him off the dribble. Body, stays with the ball, gets it up on the glass. That is a great matchup, though, Kurt. Sims-Edwards and Jones, two very, very good guards.
Well, we've mentioned his outstanding vision, what a creator he is, and that's the reason why there are so many college coaches that are interested in his services. He says he's already been offered scholarships from Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Oklahoma, and Minnesota. Think about that. You've got some decisions to make there, and you're in some pretty good company there.
Not a bad shopping list,
wow.
You know?
He's given his Maroons a one-point advantage at 29-28.
You know, nowadays in college, they love those big point guards, and he's going to put more weight on when he gets to college, but he's 6'4", 6'4.5".
Great pass to Matt McClellan from Dyricus Sims-Edwards. And Sims-Edwards, much like Verdell Jones, sees the floor.
What's so impressive about both those guys is how well they pass the ball.
Right now, Sims-Edwards with 4 assists and Verdell Jones with 5. We're seeing two very complete players go head-to-head. Here's Stewart. Pull-up jumper. Rainbow shot is no good. Matt McClellan, nice box out that time for the Panthers. Roth brings it across. Now from the outside, Josh Broadstone missed the shot. Now Stewart quickly back up the floor. He's got Culver to his left. He goes to him. It's Culver. Can't get the shot up. Ball is loose. It's ripped down on the offensive glass by Chris Lehman, who is fouled.
Just really stayed with that ball. I like to see big guys that just keep working, and that's what he did on that. Felt the contact. He made sure he got the ball up over his head so that he could draw the two-shot foul.
Lehman is the 6'5", 200-pound senior. He would like to pursue a career in sports broadcasting. He has helped out with the public address announcing for his high school volleyball team, the girls volleyball team in the fall, amidst all of his commitments at school and basketball practice. Served as the PA announcer, and he's going to be going to college in Pella, Iowa at Central College to pursue that broadcasting degree. So perhaps someday we'll see him with a pair of headsets on calling IHSA games.
If that's the case, he'll have a lot of fun.
And he'll certainly be able to relay the stories of playing in a state tournament, which only a select handful in our wonderful state has been able to say. As we approach the 2-minute mark left in this one, 31-30. Champaign Central with the lead over Washington. This is the Class 3A boys basketball third-place game. Sims-Edwards after the crossover dribble, the 17-footer.
That's just an impressive shot.
Kind of a shake and bake to get free and then knock down the jumper.
Right.
Now on defense, he's guarding Verdell Jones. Here's Stewart. In traffic, and he shoots it in. Boy, these teams are just really geared up offensively here. Now Edwards, he's gonna be cut off on the baseline by Biggers. Slips the ball inside to Colton Underwood, and it's an offensive foul.
You know, he kind of lowered his shoulder, and there might have been a little bit of, I don't want to say acting, but there might have been a little acting on that, but there certainly was contact. You just got to stay straight up when you're down there in a post. Underwood
is a football player. He's got such a big body at 6'3", 245 that he's probably guilty of that a lot, where he bangs bodies. And when you've got somebody willing to take a charge from a guy who's got that kind of physique, you're probably going to more often than not be able to fool the officials, even if it's the right call.
Yeah, even a little bit of contact from someone that big can be a lot.
1 minute to go here in this opening half. Very entertaining first half here at Carver Arena. There's Biggers, and he's guilty of the same infraction.
That was just a case of a runaway truck. He just kind of lowered his head, tried to turn the corner, couldn't get his feet in. You see him just kind of lower the shoulder and clear a path.
A huge body, and he uses that to his advantage to get himself in position on the low block, but sometimes it winds up being the other way around, and now he's got to go to the Champaign Central bench. He's bleeding on the elbow, so he's going to go back to the locker room to get that taken care of. So Keith Biggers is out.
You know, anybody wonders about intensity in the third place game, just come watch this one. The kids want to win, they want to play well, they want to go off the court feeling successful, and you know, we measure it with wins and losses.
Biggers is out, and Aaron Montgomery has replaced him. So you're Aaron Montgomery at 170 pounds at 6'1". There's about a 100-pound differential between those two. Now Kevin Brown, the Washington coach, is barking out get one, so we'll see if the Panthers try to spread the floor here and get a final shot of the half. Sims Edwards is going to penetrate instead, missed the shot. Ball is on the floor, still loose. He comes away with it, Sims Edwards does, and so maybe the Panthers will get another shot. Nope, it's through the hands of Matt McClellan and out of bounds. Back to the scorers table comes Verdell Jones. He'll re-enter the game.
I think Matt McClellan was starting to his dribble drive before he caught the ball, and it's, you know, that happens.
Now Kevin Brown just got the eye of Dyreka Sims Edwards, said, hey, we were holding for one there.
Right.
But instead it's going to be the Maroons with the last opportunity here. There's that one-on-one matchup with Verdell Jones. Jones with a basketball, 10 to shoot. 7 to shoot. 5 to shoot. To the baseline, and a foul. Jones is still down. He's a little gimpy there.
Yeah, it was another one of those knee-on-knees. We saw that yesterday, one of the ball games. Just couldn't quite get his feet. The defender couldn't get his feet in front.
We'll see here if we've got another look at that collision. Yep.
Trying to turn the corner. Defender just didn't beat him to the spot. Either a knee, which that hurts, or the muscle right above that, and that's not good either.
Well, it was a collision with Michael Arnett, and now the training staff is coming out, headed by Greg Gay. He's going to come out along with the head coach, Scott Davis, and get a look at Verdell Jones. It's tough to figure out the severity of that, as you've said before. It's all about the location of where the collision happened. Again, we've got another look at this collision between Verdell Jones and Michael Arnett.
Trying to draw the charge, just doesn't quite get in front of him. Looks like it's the muscle above the knee, which, you know, is painful, but it's a heck of a lot better than having some kind of an injury to the knee itself.
And it looks innocent when you see that replay. You say, well, that doesn't even look like much. You've seen much worse. But again, depending on where the location of that contact was, it a lot of times will dictate the severity of it. And so Jones, who's limping off with a little help from Donald Stewart, who was in the same position yesterday. It was Stewart that had the knee-on-knee collision, the upper thigh.
They got 15 minutes in the locker room. My guess is they'll get him ready to go, and he'll want to play again.
3.9 seconds, almost an opportunity for a catch and shoot. Good overplay that time. Defensive play by Matt McClellan. 0.7 of a second tick off, so 3.2 seconds. And probably Biggers or Stewart is going to get their hands on the ball. It'll be Stewart. Into him, and his shot is missed. And Biggers the rebound, but that's going to end it. Entertaining opening half of play. Champaign Central 33, Washington 32. After one half of play in this Class 3A boys basketball third place game. Ashley Robinson is standing by now with the Central head coach, Scott Davis. Take it away, Ashley.
Thanks, Kurt. Coach, Sims Edwards is kind of penetrating through your defense, doing whatever he wants at the ball. How are you going to stop it?
Well, we need to do a better job of rotating. I mean, they're penetrating, and, what happens is when we go over to help, the guys on the outside aren't rotating down to take away the dump off, and they're making some easy baskets because we're just not rotating down. Offensively, I thought we were doing a good job getting the ball inside to Keith, and Riddell's doing a pretty good job. But, defensively, when they do penetrate, they're not shooting a lot of threes. They're running off screens, but when they're penetrating down the middle, we're just slow reacting.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck in the second half. Back to you, Kurt.
Thank you, Ashley. Champaign Central, a 1-point lead, halftime of the Class 3A third place game at Carver Arena. Back with more from the Peoria Civic Center after these network messages. Champaign Central with a 33-32 advantage over Washington at the half of our Class 3A third place game. Now let's take a look at the Honda halftime highlights brought to you by Honda, featuring the all-new 268 horsepower Accord V6. Keith Biggers has just been a load inside. There's a nice snap down pass where we see one of the other inside players scoring there, Chris Lehman. How about the shooting? It hasn't come from Matt Roth. There it was coming from Ben Warner.
Roth has had trouble getting on track with the three, but we see Verdell Jones with a pull-up three of his own. And Sims Edwards with a great pass down to Arnett, who almost bobbles it, but is able to not only score but draw a foul and convert a three. Another great shot from Patrick Wampler on the wing.
This is Dyreka Sims Edwards just at the top of the circle.
It could have been, we could have had one more circle up there for the NBA.
The NBA three-point shot. Let's go to Ashley Robinson now.
Thanks, Kurt. Coach, first talk to me about Roth. What are you going to do to get him started in the second half?
Matt's just got to continue to move. We got to continue to screen for him. I think we got to get some back screens and re-screens for him on the side. He's doing a lot, making a lot of long cuts right now, and that's to do with their defense too. But he's making a lot of long cuts right now. We got to try to shorten those cuts up and bring the ball to him and help cut their closing speed down a little bit.
All right, secondly, Biggers down low. He's destroying your big guys. What are you going to do defensively to stop him?
I don't know. We need to play a six-man, I think, right now. He is big down there. We're going to try to get our transition game going a little bit and try to eliminate him from the game a little bit. But right now they're shooting 69% because they're getting a lot of shots down there. We don't have that happen against us much. We've got to try to do some things to keep the ball out of the paint.
All right, Coach. Good luck in this half. Take it away, Kurt.
Thanks, Ashley. 1-point lead for Champaign Central over Washington. The third quarter is on the way next here on the IHSA Television Network. We are ready for the opening of the second half. Third quarter action with Champaign Central leading Washington 33-32 in this Class 3A boys basketball. Third place game, Kurt Pegler along with former Proviso East head coach Bill Hitt. The Washington Panthers will start this half with the basketball, and they send out their original starting five: Ben Warner, Brian Teig, Corey Sharp, Matt Roth, and Dyreka Sims Edwards. Champaign Central in their dark uniforms have the opening starting five as well: Xander Culver, Patrick Wampler, Donald Stewart, Verdell Jones, who is back, and Keith Biggers. And there's Biggers with the defensive backboard. And here's Jones, who left in the final seconds of the second quarter with looked to be maybe a cramp or something, but he looks like he's back to normal. Here's Biggers again on the inside. Missed it, tipped it in.
They're going right inside. Help side that time was slow getting there. I don't know if it would have helped much as big as he is.
Great first half for Biggers with 11 points. Now give him 13 as he opens the third quarter with a bucket. Here's Sims Edwards. Works on Stewart. Snaps a pass down low to a cutting Matt Roth.
When there's so much pressure on the perimeter to keep him from scoring there, it does open up those back cuts. You got to take what the defense gives you.
Matt Roth, the all-time leading three-point shooter in the state of Illinois, looking for his first three of the game, and here we are in the third quarter. There's Jones penetrating and drawing contact. We've got a foul before the shot.
Yeah, it looks like he's got his upper leg taped pretty heavily after that injury right towards the end of the first half, but his mobility seems fine.
Foul was on Dyreka Sims-Edwards, the first of the second half for the Panthers. Didn't hurt his shooting any. A three-point shot for Verdell Jones.
Yeah, didn't bother his aim.
So Jones, who had 11 points in the opening half, now has his first bucket of the second half, give him 14. Matt Roth, his three is missed. Sims-Edwards, offensive rebound, and he lays it in.
I like the way he challenges defenders. Right there, he could have just shot that 5-6 foot jump shot where he rebounded it. Instead, little head fake and goes right to the glass.
Well, he's got a lot of weapons in his game, does Sims-Edwards, and he's just a junior. He'll be back for his senior year at Washington. He transferred over from Peoria Central, and he, like Verdell Jones, is getting a lot of looks of Jones as a senior. He and his teammate Donald Stewart. Dyreka Sims-Edwards still has another year to play the recruiting game. Here's Ben Warner off the glass and in.
Great feed from Corey Sharp on that one.
So the Panthers have tied this game up at 38.
You know, I liked listening to what Kevin Brown said. He wants to try to get this a little bit more up-tempo to take Biggers out of the game on transition so he's not catching up to the ball.
Biggers with a couple of looks at the hoop that time, couldn't get it to go down. And now the Panthers have a shot at the lead. Here's Ben Warner from the wing. It's short off the front of the rim, and Verdell Jones on the defensive backboard.
Good look, just didn't put it down. You know, and the other thing he was talking about, trying to get Roth some looks on the threes, very interesting, saying too many long cuts. They need to screen and rescreen and get the ball quicker. Transition, or the recovery is too quick.
Verdell Jones is fouled on penetration. And so back to the free throw line goes Verdell Jones, who is hoping to follow up his grade school state championship with a state championship this weekend. He was the young man who 4 years ago hit an 80-foot shot at the buzzer to win an 8th grade state basketball championship for Franklin Middle School. That was in 2004. And now his senior year, he gets a chance to play on the last day of the season. It won't be for a state championship, but it's at least for third, and that's not a bad second option, right?
No, it isn't.
We've got a timeout on the floor. Verdell Jones and his Central Maroons lead Washington's Panthers 40-38. Back with more after these messages and a word from your local stations.
And welcome back to Carver Arena. 40-38, Champaign Central leading Washington. We mentioned that Washington hadn't been to the state finals since '62. Well, Champaign Central came to the state finals in '69 last, finished third, went 30-4. Clyde Turner was on that team. Went on to play at Minnesota, I believe, drafted in the NBA. Tell me what you remember about your 1969 experience at the state finals.
Well, actually, that was a great time. We came up short. We had a great team back then. A great team beat us. We could have easily won the state tournament that year, and it's something that would always stay with me, the fact that we didn't win it, and it would have been great winning the tournament that year.
I was going to say 40 years later, it still means a lot to you and enough to come to watch your alma mater play here this weekend.
Absolutely. I decided to drop everything and come down and be a part of this event and this time. And I was hoping that we could pull it out yesterday. We came up short yesterday as well. But I'm hoping they can wrap up with a win today and go home and have a smile on their face about the great accomplishment they've achieved this past year and the past couple of years.
Quite a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
All right. That IHSA madness never leaves your blood, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Lee. And Matt Roth has hit his first three-point basket of the game and give him 100 consecutive games in which he's made a three.
Well, you know, Clyde Turner is one of my memories. I had graduated from Proviso East the year before, and it was the Proviso East team in 1969 that, led by Jim Brewer, that defeated the Champaign team in the semifinals in a game that I believe ended 37-36. I could be wrong.
That was our halftime score just about here.
and Brewer and Turner ended up being teammates together at University of Minnesota.
Again, we're seeing both teams up and down the floor. We saw a side of Keith Biggers that we hadn't seen with a nice assist as he flashed down and gave a pass to Donald Stewart. And now we're seeing an end line violation against the Panthers, so the ball will go back to Champaign Central. Kevin Brown trying to get his team back going in the right direction, trailing by 3. Kevin Brown's story of getting to Washington is an interesting one as well. We mentioned that he took Bloomington Central Catholic to the small school state tournament back in 2002. The Saints had a losing record, and he had them in the state quarterfinal take Pleasant Plains to overtime before losing, but they finished that season with a 17-18 record because they had a losing record entering into regionals. That was a real Cinderella team. He went out to Colorado for a couple of years, coached a team in Eaton, Colorado to a 4th place finish, and then came back to Central Illinois and is now coaching Washington to their first state tournament bid since 1962. So he's done a wonderful job with the Panthers with 4 straight appearances in the sectionals. We've got a tie up here, and alternate possession will go to the Maroons.
Well, just looking at that 4-year record, you can see that he's got the program where he wants it to be. There's a number of underclassmen playing here today, a couple freshmen, a couple sophomores. It's hard to build a program, and it looks like he's got it going in the direction he wants.
Well, 4 of Washington's 5 starters are juniors. Of course, Matt Roth, the senior's headed to Indiana, and the Washington junior high teams made it to state. So you got to think that what's bubbling underneath is pretty good for the Panthers program. Verdell Jones in traffic, looking for help. It's going to be a steal. Nice defense that time by Robert Isagiri, and then it's Sims Edwards at the finish on the other end.
A great assist from Isagiri. Just got into the game. Nice job.
Panthers have closed to within 1. Culver penetrates, lost the dribble, looking for Biggers. Keith Biggers at 6'6" is being guarded by 5'11" Brian Teig, and that's the norm for Washington, and that Teig at 5'11" typically guards the opposing team's top post player. And a steal this time. Isagiri again in the middle of it. Now it's Sims Edwards attacking from the right. It's blocked and out of bounds.
Well, that's exactly what Kevin Brown wanted. He wanted an up-tempo second half. He wanted to get the ball up the court and try to make Biggers not as much a factor in the defensive end.
Just another look at that penetration and block.
Just a little bit more traffic than he thought. Ducky Stewart was able to get that ball out of bounds.
That 3-point shot that Matt Roth just made a few moments ago gives him 462 in his career. That's number 1 all-time in the state of Illinois, and he's 6th all-time nationally in 3-point shooting at the high school level. Nice offensive work on the glass by Michael Arnett. Now a 3 from Roth. Can't get it to go. Stewart comes down with it for the Maroons. He's in trouble. He's in the backcourt, but he gets it over to Verdell Jones. Nice pass ahead now to Lehman. Chris Lehman with an opportunity for a 3-point play.
You know, they just did a great job. Look at they're pushing the ball up the court. Lehman gets right where he's supposed to be on the block, goes strong to the basket.
And Lehman, who also is a baseball player in the spring, knocks down the jump shot. You know, he replaced Wampler in the starting lineup in regionals, and it just seemed to be a fit. Scott Davis told us that he just had a feel for it, and a lot of times it just, you know, the game would dictate it. And in the regionals, he made that change in the starting lineup, and it's helped bring the Maroons down here to Peoria in their first state appearance since 1969. And on the flip side, Patrick Wampler is gladly handled that role of now coming off the bench.
You know, he's playing a lot of minutes right now, and he's playing them very well. His role today is to distract Roth, and he's doing a great job.
And we've got a foul here on Carter Billingsley of Champaign Central. Into the free throw line goes Dyricus Sims Edwards. His father, Michi Edwards, was a terrific basketball player at nearby Peoria Central. He's now the head girls basketball coach at Central. And Sims Edwards playing at Washington, as we mentioned, a junior and a guy who's going to get a lot of looks. He's already feeling the college recruiting thing now. He'll be back for his senior year next year.
Well, he's listed at 6'1". Kurt, he plays a lot bigger than that. He's strong. You know, he does different things that are very difficult to coach. The court vision, we see them trapping a little bit. Again, trying to take the ball out of Verdell Jones' hand.
Stewart, a three. Left open, no one around him. He knocks down the triple.
He's been a little quiet in this game. It'll be interesting to see him if he is a little more aggressive in the last 8 or 10 minutes.
He has 9 points on the game. Matt McClellan, the offensive rebound for the Panthers here. Final half minute of this third quarter. 5-point Central spread. It's been a very entertaining game. A lot of times we've mentioned the third place game is a game where two teams are gutting it out. It has a tendency to be sloppy, but this has been a very well played third place game. And now they'll reload the offense from the top. Sims Edwards going to go one-on-one, it looks like, with Donald Stewart. 6 to shoot. He's going to pull up a three, and that's good. Biggers at the horn is no good. And the three-pointer by Dyreka Sims Edwards pulls his team within 2. 8 minutes of basketball left in this third place game. 50-48 Champaign Central. Back with more on the IHSA television network. Our trivia is brought to you by the National Association of Realtors. Looking for a professional realtor? Go to Realtors.com. Champaign Central and Washington played a number of out-of-state opponents this year, and very good ones at that. Guess how many? 12, 14, or 15. And we brought this up earlier, Bill, that more and more teams are now doing that. It's no longer just a, hey, play the teams in your neighborhood. Now teams are playing out-of-state, playing in shootouts, and the answer to our trivia question, a dozen. And we mentioned that 3 of the teams at Champaign Central, out-of-town teams, out-of-state teams, wound up playing for championships in their states.
You know, in 91, 92, we had state champions who were pretty good. I believe,
very good, yes.
I believe we played 1 out-of-state opponent.
Lee Hall's working our sidelines. What you got for us, Lee?
Kurt, Kevin Brown really challenging his team in the huddle on defense, particularly his star Matt Roth. Not real happy with some of the defensive play by Matt. Look for him to double the ball on defense, and they need more ball reversals on offense. Very happy with the way Dyreka Sims Edwards played in that third quarter. Back to you.
Well, Sims Edwards has scored the last 7 points for Washington. And Verdell Jones just picked up his third foul as we open this fourth quarter with Champaign Central ahead by a pair. 50-48. This game has featured 16 lead changes and 6 ties. Well played third place game here. Class 3A boys basketball state tournament. Outside jumper is missed by Michael Arnett. Brian Teig has gone to the scorer's table, and he'll check in for Washington on the next whistle. Verdell Jones against Sims Edwards. That's the two of them right there. It's been a great matchup all game long. Jones spinning, hanging, firing, missed the shot. Biggers offensive rebound, then he's fouled. That time it was Arnett that got him. Look at our third quarter statistics brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Both teams still shooting the basketball very well, Bill, huh? 57.5% for Champaign Central, 51.3% for the Washington Panthers.
Yeah, they cooled off to 57%.
Verdell Jones with 17, Keith Biggers with 12 to lead the Maroons. Sims Edwards now has taken over the game-high scoring honors with 19. Matt Roth with 11. Now off the inbounds, it's Verdell Jones.
That really was too easy. That was the very first time I saw it, what I'd say just kind of lackadaisical defense on that inbounds play.
4-point advantage now for the Champaign Central Maroons, making their first trip to the state tournament since 1969. Washington's here for the first time since 1962. And don't forget, we've got the state championship game coming up between Chicago Marshall and Simeon. That's going to be a foul in the backcourt on Sims Edwards of the Panthers.
You know, again, I've said it before, I don't want to overstate it, but Wampler is just doing a phenomenal job shadowing Roth, making all of his looks difficult, and the entire Champaign team is doing a great job of hedging the screens, giving Wampler an opportunity to recover.
Now he's got a chance to shoot it, and his three goes down. So Patrick Wampler, who, as you said, Bill, have really played well defensively, now knocking down a three, and Champaign Central has its largest lead of the game at 7.
Kurt, coaches will tell you to get your offense going, bust your butt on the defensive end, and I think we're seeing that.
And again, it's Dyreka Sims-Edwards drawing contact and back to the free throw line for the junior for Washington. Now, this is a guy that really can fill up a stat line. Yesterday against Chicago Marshall, how about 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists? He's led his team in scoring 13 times this year, and as we mentioned, he's a pass-first point guard.
Right. Well, he just, he does so much, and he does it well. He's a difficult matchup for teams, too, because he's strong enough that he can get into the paint.
And he does a lot of his damage in the second half. He's a strong young man. He's got a lot of stamina. He scored 12 of his 20 points in the super sectional game Tuesday against Sterling in the fourth quarter. Biggers, pump fake on one side. He's blocked from behind, but it's going to be a foul. Looks like Corey Sharp is going to be guilty of that foul.
That play was set up by the penetration of Riddell Jones. Just comes down, dumps the ball off, and Biggers does a good job, a little head fake before he goes up to draw the foul.
Brian Teig picks up the foul, and that is the 6th foul now against Washington, so the Maroons are in the bonus. And Sharp leaves the game now in favor of Ben Warner. Biggers already has exceeded his scoring average, but he missed the foul shot, and it's off the hands of Carter Billingsley and out of bounds. He had an offensive rebound right there, but couldn't corral it. Champaign Central right now enjoying its largest lead of the game at 8 points, 56-48, 5.5 minutes to go here in this third place game. Sims-Edwards for 3, short.
He missed the last 2 free throws, left that short. You wonder if the legs, fatigue. I don't think he's been out of the game, and he's playing awfully hard.
And on the defensive end, he's got a guard for Riddell Jones, so he's got to really expend the energy on both ends. And now Warner lost the ball on the floor. And a timeout called for by Patrick Wampler. He was on the floor. He didn't want to turn it over. So we'll step aside. 56-48 Champaign Central. Back with more after this local break. Walgreens is a proud sponsor of these IHSA telecasts in the IHSA Do What's Right sportsmanship program. Time now for our Walgreens Picture Perfect moment. Good look at the Champaign Central Maroons cheerleading squad trying to cheer their team on to a 3rd place finish in the Class 3A Boys Basketball State Tournament here. Again, all these teams that made it to Peoria are bringing state trophies back to their respective schools. And that's kind of the new setup when you've got a Final Four team. And I think the coaches have appreciated that. Once they get to state, they know they're bringing home some hardware.
Exactly. That's one of the real positives. That takes that pressure off.
If you've been watching our game, you've noticed that the Panthers have a black band around the top of their shoulders, and that's in memory of a senior football player, Evan Knobloch, who was tragically killed in a car accident, and everybody in the school is remembering him, and the basketball team has all year long with their black armbands. Back with more after these local messages.
I'll do his.
Carnegie's 501 in the Pierre Marquette Hotel in Peoria, where you'll find a new fresh menu. Their breakfast buffet is just $7.95, and $7 get you the all-you-can-eat soup and salad bar, featured the entire day with the entree of the day. Carnegie's 501 Main Street, where else but in the Hotel Pierre Marquette. Time now for our Chevy Drive of the Game. It's brought to you by Chevrolet. See what's new by going to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Inside pass and a basket there by Chris Lehman, a 3-point opportunity for the senior for Champaign Central. That's our Chevy Drive of the game. Now it's Biggers on the other end. His ball blocked out of bounds. Good defense by the Panthers. In on that play was Brian Teig. Washington is still looking for his first field goal of this fourth quarter, trailing 56-48. Here's Stewart now. He's guarded by Roth. Now it's Verdell Jones, who's been guarded by Dyricus Sims-Edwards all game. Two of the top players in the state of Illinois going one-on-one. Slips the pass, does Verdell Jones, down to Biggers, who couldn't complete the play. Didn't finish. Now it's Roth. Panthers quickly up the floor. Here's Tighe. Lost it momentarily, now Sims-Edwards. They're trying to erase an 8-point deficit. From the corner, Ben Warner rattles in and out.
That did everything but go down.
Keith Biggers is now fouled in the backcourt. And so it's 1-on-1 time now for Keith Biggers and Champaign Central. The foul's going to be called against Brian Tighe. Kevin Brown's team trying desperately to get this deficit down from 8. It's the largest lead of the game for Champaign Central here with 4:06 to play.
You know, I think if you're looking at anything statistically right now, you're looking at the 3-point field goal percentage, about 29% for Washington, and obviously they shoot better than that for the whole year.
But Biggers couldn't convert the free throw, so now it's Sims-Edwards back in the front court. Matt McClellan left open, and he makes like Matt Roth and makes the jump shot.
A couple of big baskets yesterday, a couple of big baskets today.
He's played well in this state basketball tournament. Now the Panthers trapping in the corner. And there's going to be a reach and foul against the Panthers. Matt Roth, it looks like.
A little bit of fatigue on both parts. I see it a little bit more from Washington, just not quite as quick getting to the ball, slow rotating defensively.
Now, Kevin Brown said yesterday that he thought for the first time all year in the fourth quarter of their game yesterday against Marshall that they showed signs of fatigue. And here's an offensive rebound now for Champaign Central, and it does look like the Panthers are gassed right now.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a step slow all the way around.
And now a steal. Dyricus Sims-Edwards picked the pocket of Verdell Jones and laid it in. 21 points now for Sims-Edwards.
You know, if I could pick one thing, I think Verdell sometimes over dribbles. That was a case of it.
And the Panthers trying again to trap here in the half court. Wampler's jumper is a big one. So Wampler, who we've raved about his defense now, has come up with a couple of big baskets here in the fourth quarter. Now Edwards, right by a defender, hangs, fires, and he's going to get to the free throw line. He's just trying to take this basketball game over by himself.
You see him, he can see he's got a lane to the basket. He just goes really strong. Biggers comes up, and he hangs, draws the foul. Again, great body control, great anticipation.
Keith Biggers picking up his third foul on the contact, and so back to the free throw line for Sims-Edwards. The transfer from Peoria Central. He had 18 points against his former team in the sectional semifinal a couple of weeks ago in Galesburg.
You know, Washington's got 3 timeouts left. If he converts, they're down by 5. They don't have to do anything really drastic right now. Central is going to probably come down and try to take a little bit of time off the clock, but there's still plenty of time if you're Washington.
A 23.6 assist game right now for Dyricus Sims-Edwards. He's pulled his Panthers within 4. Two and a half minutes to go in this one. Verdell Jones is fouled.
I think that's what I'm talking about. You just don't need to do that with 2.5, 2:40 on the clock. You don't have to go to for the ball right now.
And so now it's Verdell Jones' turn to go to the free throw line and see what he can do. He's coming off a 15-point effort against Simeon, in which he was 9 of 10 from the foul line yesterday in the state semifinal loss. Had a very good stroke from the foul line.
You know, the other thing as a coach, that impresses me about several of the players, but Verdell Jones, they play so emotionlessly. You know, they're in control, and that's huge. You wouldn't have known he went there if it was the first minute of the game or 2 minutes to go.
You can't tell if they're up 15 or down
No.
15. Roth for 3. And perhaps the Giant has finally awakened. Matt Roth had not scored a basket in better than 8 minutes for the Panthers and knocks down a triple. And now it's Biggers. How about the pass from Stewart?
And a great catch. That ball was up over his head. Great catch and finish.
Sims Edwards one-on-one with Stewart. And he's fouled.
Ducky Stewart didn't like that call, but you know what? He got him.
That's his first foul. And so 2 free throws now for Sims Edwards at the 1:54 mark. Basketball blood in his family. We mentioned that Michi Edwards, his father, was a terrific player at Peoria Central. His uncle is Howard Nathan, the former Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois from the early 90s at Peoria Manual. And you saw him play in that championship game when you beat the Manual Rams in 1991, one of the great all-time basketball players in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, he truly was. And I saw him do stuff in that championship game that every once in a while still gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Played in the NBA with the Atlanta Hawks as well. We've got a foul right in front of the Champaign Central bench. And now double bonus time for Champaign Central. Matt McClellan picked up that foul for the Panthers. That's his second. So it's Stewart to the free throw line. And we've been talking quite a bit about Verdell Jones as a senior and the fact that he is still being recruited heavily. And this young man waited through the state tournament so that he could make a commitment sometime after it. His stock certainly rising. He's been looked at by teams like Baylor and Arkansas, Wisconsin, Penn State, Illinois State, all teams that have shown interest in his services.
You know, he also has that great college body.
Biggers offensive rebound. What a huge play that is for Keith Biggers. Big play for the big man after the 2 missed free throws from Donald Stewart.
He is very impressive.
Deep three, Roth, back of the iron, can't get it. And now Biggers out-hustles everyone for the ball and draws contact, and the foul's on Roth.
Matt Roth is my hero. Look at this, trying to take a charge from Biggers. Those are very hard calls. I don't know. I don't think he got his feet there. I think the officials got it right. But just to try to draw a charge on that truck is, you got to be a brave man.
He will be sore in the morning, that is for sure. Roth has stitches under his right elbow from taking, or under his right eye from taking an elbow from Brian Teig, an inadvertent elbow in a game. And so he's a little scratched up to begin with. Central's not doing its job at the foul line, but another steal. Quick hands from Stewart. Now the ball's in the hands of Verdell Jones. He snaps a pass down to Biggers, reverse lay-in.
Great pass, great vision.
And now Kevin Brown calls timeout. All right, 1:02 to go here. Champaign Central with a 7-point lead. Take us in the Washington huddle, Coach. What are the Panthers trying to do here? Well,
they got to get a quick score. They're down by 3 possessions. They got to get a quick score. They have 2 timeouts left. So they'll run something. They'll either, it doesn't matter if it's a 2 or a 3. So they'll either look to do something special for Roth, or they'll look to get some kind of penetration from Sims Edwards. Immediately after they score, they have to decide, are they going to take a timeout or if they're going to try to steal the inbounds. My guess is if they score quickly, they'll take a timeout, set their defense, and look to go for a steal on the inbounds.
Now, remember yesterday we saw a similar situation after a timeout in the game between Washington and Marshall, in which Matt Roth stole an inbounds pass and knocked down a 3 with about 14 seconds remaining. And he made a 6-point game, a 3-point game at that point. So we've seen some of that scenario happening. Do you foul? What do you do coming out of that timeout?
Yeah, you obviously got to put the ball in Roth and Sims Edwards' hands. That's a given. But they've done their best trying to get Roth looks, and they've been tough. They've been hard to come by for him today.
And the Champaign Central baskets here in the last minute or so have not come off the hands of Verdell Jones or Donald Stewart. It's been Biggers with 6 straight points. Ashley was listening into the huddle. What do you have for us?
Washington's coach said they need to stop standing around on defense. He pointed out a few players individually are just standing and watching and not boxing out.
Here's Matt Roth, 4-3, that's good. And a timeout again called for by Kevin Brown. And so now it's a 4-point game. And a reminder that immediately following this game, we've got the Class 3A Boys Basketball State Championship at Simeon against Marshall, the first time the two public league teams will play for the state championship. And don't forget, folks, you can send a video of your best slam dunk to FoxHighlightsChicago.com. Top 5 dunks will get to show off their dunks at a Bulls game and get to watch their dunks from a suite. These games are being streamed at FoxHighlightsChicago.com. 66-62, Champaign Central over Washington with 51.8 seconds to go. And it's only fitting that in this Final Four, which we thought was going to be terrific, that even the third place game would come down to the final minute, huh?
You know, it's just, this has been a great game. The semis yesterday were just as good. So you got one timeout left. You're Coach Brown. You got one timeout left. You're going to go for the steal, and then you got to talk about who you're going to foul. Verdell Jones went up, made two or three or four of his last free throws. Ducky Stewart missed his last 2. Biggers missed his last 2. So you're thinking, all right, let's get the ball in somebody else's hands. So they're going to probably do what they can to not let Verdell Jones get the inbound. And then if they don't get a steal, they're going to look to foul right away. All right, they're showing a little bit of a trap look, so it's maybe a little different. We'll see maybe a double team on the inbounds.
Wampler gets the ball inbounds to Jones, who's now double teamed in front of the Washington bench. Nearly threw it away. Biggers came back to get it. And now the Maroons spread the floor. Jones now double teamed and fouled quickly by Robert Isagiri. And so now Verdell Jones goes back to the free throw line. Some tension on that Champaign Central bench.
You know, he makes them both. It's still a 2-possession game.
Champaign Central has an opportunity to put this game away at the free throw line and has not done it. They're 10 of 19 right now from the foul strike.
I think they missed their last 5.
That one goes home. So Jones splits his free throws. It's a 5-point game, so a 2-possession game right now. Sims Edwards for 3, missed it. Isagiri rebounding, and a 3-point play.
What a big rebound.
This is a 6'1", 175-pound sophomore guard going toe-to-toe with Keith Biggers.
Might have got away with a little bit of a shuffle underneath, but the ball went in the basket. Now a big free throw for the young man.
Isagiri getting a chance to play at the varsity level as a sophomore. And how about this? A big, big free throw in a state tournament game. It's a 2-point game. And a timeout called by Champaign Central as Verdell Jones was in trouble there.
On both of those dead ball situation inbounds, they trapped that short corner. And Champaign just not as careful to get the ball in somewhere else.
Now we're down to 21.6 to go in the game. And the chess match continues between the two coaches in the huddle. 67-65, Champaign Central leading Washington. This is for third place in the Class 3A Boys Basketball Tournament. Champaign Central, as we mentioned, has not done its job at the foul line. They have missed 5 of their last 6 free throw attempts.
You know, they're going to put the ball in Verdell Jones's hand if you're Champaign, but you got to believe that they're going to try to inbound it somewhere other than that short corner where they can get a trap. They're going to talk about if the ball is trapped, where they're going to go with the ball next. You know, if you're Washington, you got to go for the steal, and then I would foul quickly. And I'd try to foul somebody other than Verdell Jones. But you have a timeout, so if you give up a couple free throws, you can get the ball up the court quickly. You still have an opportunity to score and take your timeout and give it one last chance.
Each team with a timeout left. Champaign Central is not only in the double bonus, but the Maroons also have the possession arrow in their favor, and that could be key here in the final 21 seconds.
You guys are exactly right. Champaign's huddle said to cut to the corner and then try and look for the lob over the top so they don't get trapped in the corner by the press, and then try and get the ball in the middle of the court.
Thank you, Ashley Robinson, for that report from the sidelines. Patrick Wampler, he triggers, he gets the ball inbounds to Stewart, who's fouled immediately in the backcourt by Brian Teig. And so it's going to be Donald Stewart, who's a 69% free thrower, coming down to the foul line. Brian Teig just picking up his 5th foul, and so Teig has fouled out. This is a young man that Kevin Brown calls the ultimate teammate, the glue guy. He's the engine that makes the Panthers team run, and he has just fouled out of the last game of the season. Nonetheless, a great year for a guy who's undersized and always guarding the opposition's best post player at 5'11".
He does such a great job, and you need, every successful team have players that understand their role.
And now as the ultimate teammate, he'll try to cheer his team on in the final 20 seconds. Here's Stewart's free throw. Ben Warner's coming back in for Matt McClellan, so this is a offense for defense type of switch out.
If you don't think this game means something to the kids, you're not watching.
It's a 3-point game, and there are 3 legitimate 3-point shooters on the floor right now in Roth, Sims Edwards, and Warner for the Panthers. And Kevin Brown calls his final timeout. This is getting pretty good right now, isn't it? This is like a state championship game.
Personally, I'm just loving it. You've got the #1 3-point shooter in Illinois high school basketball history. I wonder where the ball's going.
Matt Roth, the Indiana recruit, who has a 3-point make in 100 consecutive games, which is a state record, and has better than 460 career threes, will have the bullseye on his chest. But as much attention as he attracts, Sims Edwards is a good 3-point shooter, so is Ben Warner. So the ball could wind up in any of those 3 fellas' hands. And don't believe that Scott Davis isn't reminding his Champaign Central defense of those opportunities.
I think here Roth is 3 for 10, and we're talking about it like it's a, not a good effort. A lot of guys shoot 30%, 32% from threes, but you've come to expect him to shoot 45, 50%.
14.8 to go in this 3rd place game. Don't forget the state championship game follows Chicago Simeon and Chicago Marshall, and it'll have to go a long way to match the intensity and the excitement of this one. As we've mentioned a lot of times, the 3rd place game has kind of been a sloppy, ragged game, but this has been very well played, and these 2 teams are going at it hard. Ashley Robinson, what you got for us?
We've got the play that is about to occur. Little brother Mark Roth is about to set a back screen for big brother Matt Roth to get the shot off.
So Mark Roth, the freshman wearing number 14, has entered the game for the Panthers. Big brother Matt inbounds the ball. Final seconds of this 3rd place game. Ball is out of bounds, and it's off of Washington, and Champaign Central gets a huge defensive stop with 6.1 seconds remaining.
Coming over there, dribbling the ball. Looks like it went off the wrong foot.
And so now some substitutions going to happen. Mark Roth is going to come off the floor, and Ben Warner off the floor. Matt McClellan and Corey Sharp have re-entered for the Panthers. 6.1 seconds remaining. Look for a quick foul here. And Champaign Central can get to the free throw line and put it away. Verdell Jones is fouled in the backcourt by Sims Edwards, now with 5.1 seconds remaining.
Well, again, you could look at this, you can look at that. I think one of the big keys, and we saw that on that last possession, was just the great job that Champaign Central has done, Wampler in particular, of making it difficult to get the ball into the hands of Matt Roth when he can shoot it.
And Verdell Jones can put the game away at the free throw line. All-state players make all-state plays and make all-state pressure foul shots, and that's what's going on right now.
That's exactly right. Verdell Jones has been big all day. Bummed up and got a right ankle taped, got his right calf or thigh taped, but has made plays when he needed to.
Cold-blooded free throws there for Verdell Jones, and that's going to do it. Sims Edwards is going to go a final shot here, and that's your ball game. Champaign Central is taking home the third place trophy after a hard-fought 70-65 win over the Washington Panthers in a very well-played third place game.
It was everything you would want it to be. If that was a semifinal game, we would be raving like we are now. Those are two excellent teams. It wasn't an accident that both of them went down to the wire against the obviously very good Marshall and Simeon teams. Basketball is a funny game. You make a shot here, you make a shot there, and you advance.
A 24-point effort from Verdell Jones, who ices the game with 2 made foul shots with 5 seconds remaining. And he helps the Central Maroons to their 25th victory of the season and their first state trophy since 1969. That team in 69 placed third, and now in 2008, another third place finish. And Ashley Robinson is standing by with a winning team. Ashley.
Thanks, Kurt. Coach, how proud are you of these guys?
Goodness, I told them at halftime, have fun. It's your last 16 minutes. I'm proud of them. They've had a great 4 years experience here. And just, go out and have your class that I'm accustomed to you having, and let's take it away.
How proud are you of your senior behind me over here, Mr. Verdell Jones?
Pretty special senior. He's our floor captain. He made a lot of great decisions today. He was shooting the ball well, and it was, I don't want anybody to have the ball but him.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. We have our Country Insurance and Financial Services Player of the Game, Verdell Jones. 24 points. That's a big game. Last game, how did it feel?
It feels real good. I'm a little sad that we're not in a championship game, but I'm just proud of all my teammates, and I just thank God for letting me come out here and play good tonight.
You shot 9 or 11 from the field. You just feeling it today? Had a hot hand?
Yeah, I told my teammates this is our last game. Let's go out with a bang. So I just came out here with a lot of confidence and just played well tonight.
How'd you feel about the comments Coach made about you?
It's special. He's coached a lot of years and had a lot of players, and I'm just happy we got a win for him.
All right, congratulations. Go enjoy the win. Take it away, Kurt.
Thanks, Ashley. Verdell Jones was a hero in the 8th grade state championship game and a hero in this third place game and his final senior game with Champaign Central. Your third place winners, 70-65. Back with more from the Peoria Civic Center after these local messages.